Okay, so we're just gonna start by reviewing the 3A. So when we're using the 3A, what we want to be doing is just checking for checking for carries and supergingival, some subgingival calculus. But for today, what we're going to be doing is checking for carries. When we check for carries, typically we would want a blunter instrument than this. This kind of instrument, if apply too much pressure onto the occlusal surface, if there's a cavitated lesion under the occlusal surface that we're not aware of, we can actually puncture it and break through the surface layer, causing the cavity to get bigger. So we want to be careful with that. So we just want to glide it across very gently, just like that. You can use compressed air, and typically with we should also be using our eyes. If we're checking for the buccal groove, check like this. Very gently. And we're just doing it at about a 90-degree angle here. Can also be used for cavity detection is transillumination, is reflecting the light off of the mirror onto the anteriors to see if there's anything in approximately between the anteriors, because the translucency of the enamel on the anteriors is greater due to the fact that it's thinner in an enamel here. So we're able to do that with the anteriors here, see if there's anything in between that there. Can also use compressed air just so we don't have to worry about the reflection of the light hitting the saliva, making us think that there's nothing there, when in reality there's a cavity there, maybe in calculus. So let's move on to the probe. So for the probe, the way that we want to start is we want to start distal facial line angle. We want to come in towards the tooth. Still need a little bit of practice here, but we come in towards the tooth. We want to walk it about 1 millimeter each, a distance between each, and we also, about 1 millimeter distance between each step, I guess you could say, and 1 to 2 millimeters when lifting it, but not bringing it out of the socket, because that constant reinsertion and taking it out and reinserting can cause trauma to the gums. So I want to be careful to avoid that. And then once we get really interproximally here, we want to kind of tilt it like that, so we can get the very bottom of the pocket wall of the coal there. So we just want to tilt it. And then I actually made a mistake right there. I took it out. Should have left it in. Let's just come back in here. Let's imagine we're back here. We've already done this step, checked it, and then we just want to walk it back slowly, making sure we're getting the curvature of the tooth, so constantly staying along the surface of the root slowly. And then we want to kind of curve our hand, or not curve our hand, but how would you say, bring your hand closer to yourself so that the instrument's end is actually constantly making contact with the root. And then once you're kind of in there deep, you just tilt a little bit like that. Not too much, just tilt a little bit, like I said, to really get access to the coal. And you also want to do that lingually, but we'll be doing that. That would be done in a different point. You'll be starting here at number 32. If you were actually probing, do all the buccal surface until 17. Then you would come in lingually and then just rotate all the way around. So I'm just going to continue here. So we're about this facial line angle. Just going to do our little walk here. Have a little bit of a hard time. So I need to rotate it. I rotate it, I feel that there's less connection. I feel that I'm putting a little too much pressure, so let's just relax our hand. Come on in, tilt it, relax it, and then come back out. Walk it, and then here, and flare the hand a little bit outwards. Keep coming in, we're in there, tilt it. It's gonna be something like that. It's a little hard to see. I wouldn't say it's perfect either, but that's kind of the general idea. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do the same thing over here. I want to come in, tilt it. I think I put in a little too much pressure. Can't really go any further deeper. So now we lift it. If I were actually probing, for example, and I were checking the pockets right here, I would get the highest number. I wouldn't get the lowest or the middle number, the highest number. And if it's I'm using a probe where the probe's measurements can put it in half a measurement, so like 3.5, 4.5, then I would just raise it up to 4 or 5, to a whole number pretty much. But you always bring it up, you don't bring the number down. Kind of starting a little too far here. A little bit tight, so I think I need to tilt it a little bit better. I'm in there, so now we tilt it a little bit, not too much. I think that's okay. Come back out. Tilt it towards the tooth. I'm kind of gripping it really hard. Just need to relax a little bit. And then, just like that. Tilt a little more towards the tooth. Tilt it a little bit. Going a little too fast, so you want to make sure it's like 1 millimeter, because it's not always uniform here in the pocket. Sometimes there's maybe a depth of like 3 millimeters, 3 millimeters, 3 millimeters, 4 millimeters, 5 millimeters, 3 millimeters, like that. So you want to get everywhere and really capture everything. That's why you want to go kind of slowly. And then when you come in here, you want to go at this angle, because on the opposite side, you're going to be coming in at this angle. So you want to see if you can see the probe a little bit, how it's kind of connected to the tooth, but it's coming in at a different angle. So you can really assess everything properly. Typically, you'd be doing 8 to 9 o'clock on this situation for surfaces towards. Maybe a little too deep in there. I think right there is good. Coming forward, 1 to 2 millimeters. About that should be okay. Same thing here. Okay. How am I looking at the time? Just tell me. Okay. I think one of the bigger issues would be doing things indirect, so I'm going to practice that. He told me it would be important to look at that, so let me just try to practice that a little bit. Use our fulcrum for our mirror on the cheek. Still want to come in just lingually. Should have good ergonomics. Don't have to press too much. To me, this looks okay. Remember, the professor was telling me to try and stay more parallel to the tooth. I feel like I was having an issue with that. I feel like I can come in a little bit closer. Come in more parallel. I think this is good right there. Let's try it here. See, this is about the distal facial here. Come parallel like this towards the tooth. Towards the tooth. Maybe this is better actually. This guy is really getting in there. Remember, just stay parallel. I feel like the best way to remember that is just to look through the mirror and just look at like the angle of my probe. It's supposed to be like 90 degrees. So if it's like that, it should be parallel to the tooth. If I feel like it flares towards me, like towards the mirror at all, then I'm just not doing it right. I'm not parallel enough. Let me see. I feel like something's going on here. Probably not parallel enough. Like the teacher is always telling me. Yeah, let's see, that should be better. Keep it parallel. Goes right in. Now this first patient I'm gonna go through is gonna be in pain. I feel like every time there's calculus, it's hard to get in there, and then I'm worried about breaking off the calculus. And here, like, I feel like I'm going too out there. Definitely going too out there, going past the bone. Supposed to be the opposite way, because I would be going right to left and then left to right, so I'm actually not coming in properly. It would be this way. See that piece of calculus. Make sure my ergonomics are good. Let's try this tooth really well here. So I think that's pretty solid. I can tilt it a little bit. And then come on in. Shaking this, trying to keep it a little
Fort.
Okay. Checking it, keep checking it. Feel like I'm pretty good. I think I'm pretty parallel to the tooth here. When I come on in, I feel pretty good right here. I think this is good. So I'm gonna come on out. We're gonna do the same thing right here. So now we're working on the mesial number 8. Try to make this more parallel. It's supposed to be 10 to 20 grams of pressure that you're applying. Remember using that little, I'm not sure what it's called. It's supposed to gauge like how much strength you're putting into it. It's very light, but also not as light as you might think. It's like right in between. Think about that, should be fine. Can't take it out. Can cause trauma. To be careful.